Hello, welcome back to Module 5, Eliciting Techniques. In this video, we'll focus on the main tool for eliciting, teacher questions. Now, let's get started. First, let's see what teacher questions are. According to Harmer J. 2011, teacher questions are defined as initiatives on the part of the teacher which are designed to elicit oral responses by the students. Teacher questions may not always be worded as interrogatives, and conversely, interrogative forms can be included in statements and commands. Look at these examples. What can you see in the picture? This is an interrogative. We'll describe what is going on in this picture. This is a statement. Tell me what you can see in this picture. This is a command. What purposes do teacher questions serve in eliciting? In fact, there are many purposes that teacher questions can serve in general. But questions for eliciting in particular mainly serve these purposes. To find out something from the students, for example, facts, ideas, or opinions. To get students to be active in their learning, to direct attention or provide warm-up to the topic which is about to be studied. To stimulate thinking, logical, critical, or imaginative. To get students to review and practice previously taught materials. And to encourage students' self-expression. There are 5 common types of questions for eliciting. They are genuine questions, display questions, polar closed questions, closed questions, and open questions. Genuine questions are those that offer authentic communication because they involve a real transfer of information. We are likely interested in the message contained in the answer. When asking these questions, the teacher really wants to find out the answer. For example, has she bought it? Or what happened? Display questions are also important. Indeed, they are essential for teaching because there are many occasions when the teacher needs to get students to demonstrate what they know in order to find out if something has been well understood or it needs further teaching. For example, what is the man in the picture doing? These 2 kinds of questions are classified according to different purposes of questions. Polar closed questions are those which lead to one of just 2 possible one-word answers, typically yes or no, or offer choices between options. For example, was the car brand new? The answer must be either yes or no. And was the car brand new or second-hand? The answer must be one of the 2 options, brand new or second-hand. Closed questions are those which are asked for fixed facts using W8 words. These questions have one correct answer or a very limited number of possible answers. For example, when did Jane leave for Paris? What is she going to buy in Paris? For the first question, there may be only one answer on the date she left for Paris. For the second question, There may be more than one thing she is going to buy in Paris. Open questions are those which do not have a single fixed answer. But there are a number of different ways to answer this type of questions. For example, what can we do to stay healthy? There are different ways to answer this question. These three types of questions are classified according to different degrees of openness in questions. To ask effective questions for eliciting, you should keep these tips in mind. First, you should vary questioning techniques, asking both difficult and easy questions for both strong and weaker students. In this way, the whole class will be involved in. Next, you can use various types of questions for eliciting, basing on what you are trying to elicit. Third, you should allow time for students to think of the answers. Fourth, you need to encourage students who come up with correct answers by saying, "Great, good, excellent." Finally, if students cannot answer your questions, don't get frustrated and present the answer instead. The following checklist will help you put more effective questions in your teaching practice. Number 1, clarity. Do the students immediately understand not only what the question means, but also what kind of an answer is required? Often, it can help a lot if the teacher provides a sample acceptable answer or two first to give a model. Number 2, interest. Do the students find the questions interesting, challenging, and stimulating? Number 3, accessibility. Can most of the students at least try to answer it, or only the more advanced, confident, and knowledgeable one? Number 4, level of answer. Are the answers demanded within the level of the students, both cognitively and linguistically? Number 5, learning value. Does the question lead to or effectively check learning? Number 6, teacher reaction. Are the students sure that the feedback to their responses will be respectful, that they will not be put down or ridiculed if they say something inappropriate? Now, let's watch a video extract. After that, you will have 2 minutes to answer these questions. 1. What kinds of questions does the teacher use to elicit? Note down the examples. 2. What does she elicit? Vocabulary, new ideas, or background knowledge? Number 3. Does she follow any aforementioned tips?
Listening. For example, let's start with this. Who likes movies in here? Yeah, you do? Okay, great. Sounds like a few people like movies. So what kinds of movies do people like?
Comedy?
Comedy, all right. Good. What are some other types of movies?
Drama.
Drama, fantastic. Great. So what are some other kinds of movies that people like?
Action?
Action, great. Action movies. And this is what I want to talk a little bit more about today, especially one kind of action movie, which is a James Bond movie. Hands up if you've seen a James Bond movie. All right, good. He's a spy, and he does have a spy name. What is it?
007?
007, that is right. Good. And what I really like about James Bond movies is that there are good guys and there are bad guys. And they fight a lot. What's another name for the bad guys?
Villain?
It's a villain. Good. Robin, is James Bond a villain?
No.
No. What is he?
A good guy?
He's a good guy. Exactly. Young, can you give me another example of a villain from any movie?
Maybe Joker from Batman?
Excellent. Good. The Joker from Batman. Another thing that I really like about James Bond movies is that people do things like they'll use a shoe for a telephone, or you'll see cars flying through the air. And these are called special
Effects.
effects. Good. What's another special effect that you've seen in a movie?
People flying?
People flying. Great. Can you tell me which movie you've seen that in?
The Matrix?
The Matrix. Excellent. Now, is it real when they do that?
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not. It's a special effect. Excellent. When I go and see a movie, sometimes I like to find out a little bit more about it beforehand, and so I read something. What do you think I read?
A review?
A review. Great. Where can we find reviews?
Newspaper?
Newspapers. Excellent. Good. And some people are really lucky because they have a job which allows them to watch movies and write reviews. What's their job called?
Film critic?
It's a film critic. Great. A critic. Where can film critics put their reviews?
Magazine or newspaper?
Magazines?
Online?
Online? Fantastic. Good. Sometimes people agree with the reviews that critics write, and sometimes they don't. What is it called when we don't agree with them?
Disagree?
Disagree. Excellent. So today what we're going to do is we're going to listen to two movie critics talking about a James Bond movie. Their names are Pauline and Colin. So let's find out what they thought about the James Bond movie that they watched.
Well, the previous video clip shows a good example of how to use different types of questions to elicit students' already known vocabulary items and their background knowledge of the topic movies. For genuine questions, she asked, "Who likes movies in here? Have you ever seen James Bond's movie?" For display questions, she asked, "He does have a spy name. What is it?" For polar close questions, she asked, "Robin, is James Bond a villain? Is it real when they do that?" For close questions, she asked, "What's another name for the bad guy?" For open questions, she asked, "What kinds of movies do people like?" So, in this video, we will talk about teacher questions as the main eliciting tool, especially some common types of questions for eliciting, and some tips for using questions as an eliciting tool. In the next video, we introduce some supplementary tools for effective elicitation and several tips for effective elicitation. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.